Hello listeners, this is 107.8 Puduvai Vaani, the community radio station of Pondicherry University. This program is Just Relax. Stress and tension is an universal disease in today's world. If we see, we won't find anyone without stress. This is one of the most ridiculous diseases in today's world, and managing this stress is a huge task. It's not so easy to do this, but Dr. Vivek Sharma is here with us with some beautiful ideas and tips to manage this stress. Let's listen to him.
Good afternoon, listeners. Today we are going to talk about the next part of our program, how to beat stress by changing our attitude. In the last discussion, we talked about the importance of goal setting in the life of each and every person and daily time management. So as I said earlier, that it is said every minute spent in planning saves 10 minutes in execution, and daily time management is the most important part of execution of our goal achievement plans. So we should be very much well versed with the idea of daily time management, because time once gone will never come back. So today we are going to continue with our talk and we'll take the fourth point, courage. Before that, let us see the importance of the attitude from where we started. I'll start with this example. There was a man who was washing his new car, and one of his neighbor came up and he asked, "When did you buy this car?" So that man replied, "I did not buy it myself. My brother came and gave it to me." So the neighbor's response was, "Wow, I wish I also had a car like that." Then the man replied, "Then you should wish to have a brother like that." So the neighbor's wife was listening to the conversation going on between them, and she interrupted them and she said, "How I wish that I was like a brother. I was a brother like that. What a way to go." So there is a lot of difference in the attitude. One person is looking to have a person who can give him the things. Another person wants to have a person who can give him the things. It is always nice to be on the giver side rather than to be on the taker side. And what is the difference? It is only the attitude. So we'll take the fourth principle, fourth rule that we have talked about, and that is about the courage. Now actually there are thousands of definitions of courage, and every person says differently about the courage. For me, as I am quoting from the book, Shiv Khera's book, courage means force yourself to do in the area of what should be done. Now, if we are able to force ourselves to do in the area what should be done, that is all it is needed in the life. If we can keep on using our intellect, if I keep on using our willpower to do whatever is necessary, that is all the courage a person needs. So the points to be 3 points we can talk about it, A, B, C. A means, now let us identify and make a list of all the things we hate to do, but we know they are very important for us from the career point of view, from the long-term achievement of the life objectives. It can include many things. For example, learning new skills of language. We want to learn new language, or we want to learn how to do the statistics, or we want to learn various programs done on the computer about which we are not well versed. We are struggling day to day and we take the help of other people. And one of the biggest fear is like speaking in public. We hesitate asking questions in front of others, in the front of other audience, whether it is the class, whether it is public or whatever it is. Or we would simply like to have the command of our language. We think that we cannot speak properly in proper manner. It is always nice to make a list of all these things. Part B. Now, second part comes and it talks about is take action and start doing positive activity first thing in the morning. If we make it a habit that first thing that we do when we get up in the morning is to try to do the hardest possible thing, to overcome the fear, the things which we don't like, which we have already listed. We know that if we take care of all the things which are in our list and somehow we start overcoming all those things, then very much it is possible to change our personality. So if we can start our day by taking the things which we don't like to do as the first activity and force ourselves to do it, and it can be an excellent way of starting the day. And see, nothing else but continue doing so. Like other things, the activity forming is also like building the muscles. If we continue doing so, a day will come when it becomes a habit for us to overcome any sort of problem by utilizing the courage whenever is needed. You know what is the biggest problem in the life? It is our biggest obstacle in the life is fear of loss, whether it is of time, whether it is of money or emotions. And it is all captured in the mind, in our system, as only these words: I cannot do it. I just cannot do it. And when I say to it myself again and again, I actually empower myself and say, and it becomes a reality, I cannot do it. In this world, 80% of the population is suffering from this fear of failure. We all are very much afraid of failing in the public. It somehow, I think it started long time back when we were children. And we never wanted to fail. Or in fact, I should start from the point that we did not even know what is failure or things. We just simply wanted to do the things. Then we start observing our parents and we found that every time we are failing, our parents are not happy. They don't want to see us failing. Then every time we fail, our teachers or our students, our parents, they become unhappy, or we carry those things. So that embarrassment continues in the life. Every time we fail, we feel that disgust or that displeasure in ourselves. And we do not like to see the negative part of our life. So we can overcome this fear, but the problem is that more than 80% of the population is suffering from this fear. And it is extremely important for each one of us to realize our potential. Now, what is the important thing? Important thing is to make this courage to face fears a habit. And any new habit can be formed, as the study says, within 21 days if it is done with full heart, with full force, and we are focused on our task. So courage to face fears is a habit. It's a good news because we can change ourselves. We can be courageous at least for next 21 days. Then automatically it becomes a habit and we can make our life to go in the next gear. By practicing courage whenever needed is essential to the success. We cannot be successful if we are not courageous. Now, how to start? Where is the starting point? Aristotle, the great person, he said, desire to have a quality which you want to possess, act in such a way that you already have it and ultimately you will have it. That means we should first of all think over that, yes, this quality I want to possess. And then we start acting in such a manner that we already have that quality. We already know how to overcome the problem. And our demeanor, our behavior, everything becomes in such a manner that we have already overcome our problem. And then ultimately you will have it. Shri Parth Sarthi, a great person from Chennai, what he says is, ultimately every fear whichever we possess, it can ultimately be rooted to the fear of death. It is the single most fear that is actually fear of death, which is manifesting in different ways in our life, day-to-day life. We are always fearful of death and dying before we accomplish something in this life. So what he means to say is that we should not be fearful, we should be open and we should take small steps, courageous steps, and we should not always feel what will happen if I die and all that. So what he told is, being adventurous does not mean that we are capable of jumping from the edge of a huge cliff, or we can go to the Mount Everest to hoist the flag. Of course, it is also adventure, but this adventure is meaningless in the day-to-day life. A person can go to the Mount Everest but still be very much afraid of dealing with the day-to-day activities. So for an ordinary person, for an ordinary man, but who wants to have the extraordinary qualities, courage simply means facing day-to-day situations with complete faith and complete courage and keep on doing it. We face all our daily activities with full courage, with full belief, and that is all we need to do. Now, it does not matter whether we think ourselves to be strong or not so. We think that we are intelligent or we are not so intelligent. It does not matter. In the beginning, first of all, we should make up the point that yes, I want to change. Then list out all the things that we want to do. Then by making small courageous steps, we make a habit of doing all the things which we feel that they are difficult in our life. Every person in this way can achieve miraculous things which cannot be imagined by any person now. So we should make a list of all the things we are fearful of. We imagine that we have already overcome such fears, and we start behaving like a person capable of overcoming everything. We practice it over and over again in our mind, until we feel in our mind that we have defeated our fears. So importantly, just do it. As the logo says, take time first thing in the day to practice what needs to be done. Let us make it a habit to start our day with the most difficult thing. Now, very important thing that many of us will realize is most of the fears that we are having all the time, they are bundled up with others. How I'm going to go and confront my boss, my head of the department, my other people. How will I take care of the bad relationships? No, my colleague is very cold. He or she does not respond well. I do not know how to take care of the things. And always I am fearful of the embarrassment at the workplace. Now, since I am always thinking about the negative things, they are bound to happen. And slowly, if I am not able to face them, I get into the habit of saying to myself, no, I cannot do it. Successful people are not looking for miracles, or they are looking for the easy tasks. No, they do not. They seek courage and strength to overcome obstacles. It is not important that we all should go for the easy tasks that anybody can do. But people who are having good personality, they look for the tasks in which they have to overcome obstacles. They look at it what is left rather than what is lost. See, if we get our focus totally on what is left in the work, we know that so much of work is needed to be done in this life by us. Everybody expects something from us. So if we are able to fulfill our role with complete courage, with complete faith in ourselves, then it is very much possible to get over the fear of what is lost, what I could not achieve in the life. So wishes don't come true, beliefs and expectations supported by conviction do. If I have beliefs and if I am expecting and I have a conviction to do it, surely it will happen. Prayers are only answered when they are supported with courageous action. So if there is no point in praying to God and without doing anything, it is the courage and the character that is the deadly combination for success. We should have a flawless character and we should be courageous to make small changes in our life continuously. Then only the success will come to us. This is the only difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Let me take an example. A boy was flying a kite with his father and he asked him, "What is keeping this kite going up in the sky?" Dad replied, "The string." Then the boy said, "How is it possible, Dad? It is the string that is holding the kite down." The father asked his son to watch as he broke the string. Now what happened? The moment the string was broken, the kite also came down. So isn't that true in our life also? Sometimes we feel that there are obstacles in our life and we give up and we think that it is the obstacles which are actually holding us down. But sometimes the very things that we think are holding us down are the things that are helping us. These are the things that are actually helping us. So that is what discipline is all about, discipline of courage. So when our minds are filled with courage, we forget our fears and overcome obstacles. Courage is not absence of fear, but the overcoming of fear. Every person in this world is fearful, but it is very important for us to be able to overcome our fear and making it a habit of doing that. Now, character without courage is ineffective, whereas courage without character is just an oppression. We will use our courage to put people other down and we will oppress them. So next time when we meet with the adversity, let us stop and ask ourselves only these two questions. Number 1, what can I learn from this challenge? Second is, how can I turn this lesson in life to my advantage? If I answer to these two questions judicially, definitely it will be a stepping stone in the life. Now we should read the life history. One of the points that I can suggest is that it should be a regular habit for each one of us to read the life histories of people who have turned a negative into a positive, who have made the adversity into the advantage, and who have made the stumbling blocks in their life into the stepping stones. They refuse to let disappointment and failures pull them down. Now, some of the best music was composed by Beethoven. Every shop you go, music shop has Beethoven. What was his handicap? His handicap was that he was himself deaf. He could not hear what he was composing. But some of the best poetry written on nature was written by Milton. What was his handicap? He was absolutely blind. So Milton was blind, Beethoven was deaf, but they could give so much to the world. Why can't we do when we have all the senses working? So one of the greatest world leaders was US President Franklin D. Roosevelt. What was his handicap? He served the country from wheelchair. So let us not look at our failures, let us not look at our disappointments. Let us be courageous, let us start taking the steps forward and start focusing on what we can do in this life and make it a habit by continuously listing out all the negativities, working on each one of them at least for 1 month. Then ultimately it becomes a habit for us to overcome all those things. And then we go to the next level. So now friends, I am going to talk about the next important rule that we should never underestimate. It is the healthy lifestyle habits. Now average life expectancy in India is roughly 65 years for both males and females. But in some areas urban dwellers have a slight difference, the rural population has difference. Let us not go into that. The important thing is, since you listeners are smart, now you are always better informed and knowledgeable, you are expected to live longer. There is 50% chance that people can go 65 years above and 50% chance that they will die below. So let us put it thing in front of us, since we are informed, knowledgeable, and we are expected to live longer than 65 years, maybe to 80, 85 years or even 100 years. For that it is extremely important to live in great shape. It is very common in our country, especially for females, to have lifestyle related disorders like obesity, arthritis, body aches, and inertia even in the 30s and 40s. Now Indians have a tendency to have heart attack, diabetes, etc. 1 decade earlier than the Westerners. Now it can be blamed to our genes. If they have the diseases in the 50s and 60s, it is very common to have the problems in our 40s. Now even problems are occurring in 30s. Although a lot of it can go to the genes, but there are a lot of other factors like stress, like the lifestyle habits that we all are assuming we are taking up from Westerners. Avoid smoking, drinking and drugs. It is in our hands. If we avoid smoking, we stop drinking and we avoid drugs, it can drastically change the way we live. As one person, Lady Astor, has said, one reason that I don't drink is that I want to know when I am having a good time. When I am in an inebriated position, I don't know what is happening to me. I suppose that I am having a good time, but maybe it is I don't have any sense at all. So drinking makes a person lose his inhibitions and make him an exhibitionist. So it has now become a very common habit that it has become sort of pastime for many people, especially the younger population, who actually succumb to the peer pressure. If you don't drink with them and you smoke with them, they look at you as if there is something wrong with you only. And these things are glamorized. Drinking and smoking are glamorized beyond doubt in this world. It all starts with the first time. If you ask the people why they consume alcohol or they smoke, they will say hundreds of reasons, such as we want to celebrate, we want to have fun, we want to forget our problems, we want to relax, we want to experiment in our lives, and we want to impress others. It's a cool drink, it is good, it is fashionable, it will allow me to mingle in the society better and for business purposes. But actually, we are killing ourselves in the name of these excuses. So one of the things that we can do is, straight away before I come to other lifestyle habits, to avoid strictly drinking, alcohol and drugs. Now what is our goal? If we want to go beyond this average life of 65 years, as I have told you, 50% live below and 50% go beyond the 65 years, we should design our ideal body. We should know what is our ideal body in whatever the circumstances, whatever the age I am looking at. It is not possible for everyone to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it is very possible for every person to be lean and fit. So it is sure that if our body was perfect, then our life would be much easier. Our life would be much easier on us if we are able to tolerate day-to-day stresses, day-to-day problems of life. So let us think over it and give a lot of importance to our body also, as we are giving to our clothes. We look at, when we are talking about designing the ideal body, The components which are important are the weight, the fitness, the tone, and the stretch of the body. So I would like to cover all these points in these 5 parts, how we can take care of or how we can help ourselves in going towards the ideal body. And these are not the miraculous things, everybody knows about it. I am simply going to repeat those points. If we keep these points in our mind and every day practice it, definitely it is possible for us to have a healthy life which will allow us to focus on many things in the life without any problems. Number 1, eat less and exercise more, and exercise every day. It is very much possible for us, for many of us, not to snack middle of the day or any time after the meals are there. We find that there are a lot of people who say they are not eating anything and they will go out and they will snack on small things and come back, and that snacking and all those things ultimately lead to added weight, and usually they are taking the junk items only. And usually people, if you see that so many people will be staying in our Pondicherry itself, but how many of them, if we go out in the morning at 5 o'clock, how many people we see on the roads? It itself speaks that most of the people are not serious about their health. They are actually missing a very important universal law. If we are not healthy, then nothing is healthy for us. Coming to the exercise, now exercise is not benefiting our body only, but it benefits mind also. It benefits both mind and body. It allows us to give the alert mind and it gives us the fit body. Everybody knows that exercise is beneficial, but seldom people do it regularly and are more happy going to the medical shops, hospitals and healthcare centers rather than getting up early in the morning and spending 1 hour on ourselves. We can start our habit of self-discipline and courage, as we talked in the previous section, by exercising every day in the morning. Just if we can do it for next 21 days, as I repeat again, it will be our habit. And in the long run, we will be greatly benefited by it. In childhood and early adulthood, as saying goes, we waste our body to learn to earn money. We sit for hours, we burn our midnight oil that someday we will become big person. And then from the late adulthood, when we go into the jobs and we go to the higher posts, and ultimately in the adulthood till we die, we spend our money to gain health. That is precisely what is happening. That earlier we don't care when we have the capacity to take care of our health. And ultimately, when the health is not, when we get the wealth, then we spend our rest of the life for earning the medicines and other things, for going for the healthcare shops to earn the health again. So exercise is also the best stress buster. And out of all the LIC policies, all the insurance policies like LIC and others which are going around, I think the best insurance of life is, better than any life insurance policy is to exercise daily, 1 hour, 45 minutes to 1 hour per day. And it is also, I think, the best way to start the day. Now remember, we are designed in such a way that our bodies keep moving all the day and mind is always at rest. But actually in the modern world, reverse is happening. Our bodies are always at rest and our mind is always moving around, thousands of things it is thinking of, and it is very difficult to break this cycle. So if you are not a daily exerciser, realize your self-responsibility that today I can do something which is important to do and must be done, but I am not doing it. So I will get up early now and I will start my day with the exercise. Also, it is important in the beginning to start with the mild exercise. We should not immediately go for the high intensity. We usually are not working anything and then suddenly from the couch we get up and we want to immediately have the fit body. That is not possible. We should be disciplined in the life. We should remain within the mild category zone for at least 4 weeks to 6 weeks. Now this discipline helps us to control our life. The focus should not be on the amount of exercises, but the focus should be on the enjoying the exercises. And the best way is to start for the mild exercise like going for a walk, going for the brisk walk, and keep on sticking with that exercise pattern for next 4 to 6 weeks. When we go for a walk for 30-40 minutes and go for 10 to 15 minutes stretching, it is sufficient enough to make our body fit, to make our minds fit. So remember, Arnold did not build muscles in 1 month. He worked for years and years and years and years. Then only he was able to reach to the level of Mr. Universe. But our aim is to remain fit in the mind and body. For that, what study says is any exercise which is of mild to moderate intensity done 3 to 5 times in a week is sufficient to keep our activity very good. It is capable of letting us be the best stress buster. And the importance of exercise therefore cannot be underestimated. It is not a coincidence that all successful and influential people get up in the morning at 5 a.m. They usually keep 1 hour spare in spite of attending all the board meetings, of doing all the big things. It is always important for them that they will take out 1 hour for themselves, and they will keep sticking to that routine days after days, months after months, years after months. And they can successfully take the role of the corporate heads without any problems. So it is definitely not a coincidence. We find that all the people who are usually successful, usually influential, they will always be fit also. Now, workout for 1 hour is good enough for every person. It will have an enormous impact on the life. Also, during the exercise, when a person does exercise for 20 to 30 minutes, the brain starts releases the endorphins. Endorphins are called as the happy hormones that make us feel happy, alert, active, and they make us more eager to do the things. So we are ready to receive the day rather than being forced to move around in the day. And if we try, it is nice to look for a morning walk partner if possible. If not, then let us not wait for the other person and start doing it ourselves. The latest research shows that depression and anxiety can be greatly reduced by only one regular exercise of mild to moderate intensity. Now take 20 to 30 minutes of time for daily meditation or contemplation. If we combine both the things, that we go for 1 hour of exercise and we go for around 20 to 30 minutes of contemplation or meditation, then it is very much possible that we can start our day in the best note. So that is number 1 point, that we should be able to exercise each and every day, days after days, 3 to 5 times per week for months and for years. If we do this, surely we are going to be in the persons who live beyond the average life expectancy of the country. Coming to the second point, food. Now, food is something that is very close to everybody's heart. Everybody over here is thinking about what we should eat, what we are, and the focus around the slimming and toning and everything is basically on food. There are few basic principles of food that we all know. If we start using them, then surely it is going to give us. Food is not for the taste, although it can be tasty. Any food can be made tasty, but actually the food should not be eaten for taste. The basic principles that we can take is to have more of the green vegetables, take lots of green vegetables, eliminate extra flour. We should not take all the white things, as it is called as the white flour, or just sugar or salt or fast food items like Maggi and pizzas and other things. All of them can be left. If we take all these things in moderation and we habitually take lot of good food, it is surely going to help in giving us the strength to meet the daily requirements. We should eat fruits every day. Eat fruits means possible. Try to mix 5 different types of the fruits and take 1 portion of all the 5 fruits. We can mix, for example, banana with papaya, with sapota, and pieces of pineapple and pieces of apple. If we take 1 bowl of it, it is good enough. If we can take more, it is always welcome. In the food, whatever the plan it is, the important thing is whether we are vegetarian or non-vegetarian. I do not want to get into all those details. Everybody knows about that. The quantity should be in such a manner that we should take moderate protein. The carbohydrate should be roughly around 70 to 80%. The protein should be roughly around 20 to 30%. And fat should be roughly around 5 to 10%. It should not be more than that. And an average Indian who takes pickles and who takes the complete food, he takes more than 10 grams, 5 to 10 grams of the salt consumption is very, very common in our country. And usually the food is deeply fried, and there is nothing left in the food by the time it comes on the table. So we can reduce the use of pickle and the fast foods like burgers, pizzas, colas. Colas, they are like empty junks only. They give us the calories, but there is nothing else in it. So we should eat a lot of salad. When we start taking the food, if we make a plate full of salads and we start the food with the salads and then we take other parts of the food, first thing it will do is it will fill our food. Second thing is it will give us the fiber and it will give us the fillingness, which will prevent us from eating too much of food. And fiber is actually, it stays in the stomach and then in the intestine for long periods of time. And recent research says that it has been actually be able to prevent the constipation and as well as even the tumors, and it also helps in the functioning of all the commensal bacteria or the bacteria which are symbiotic bacteria which are useful for our body, which help in the digestion of the food. So we should eat lots of salads and eat light. And one of the basic principles which was followed in our Indian tradition but which is now forgotten nearly is that we eat light and everything finishing before 7 p.m. As the saying goes, eat food, have breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper, like a beggar. And that too also finishing everything before 7 p.m. If we follow the rule of the nature that when the sun goes down, we will also stop eating. Our body will get around 12 hours or so for further eating, for further digesting the food, whatever we have eaten. And that way it is going to be of great help to it. And the last and the fifth one help that I can suggest to other people is get regular medical and dental checkups. We spend a lot of time on other things, and most of the infections which stay in the mouth, infections ultimately cause lots of problems in the life. So if we get regular medical and dental checkups, especially if a person is above the age of 40 years, it is mandatory that every person goes for yearly medical checkup and at least twice dental checkup. All those people whose dental hygiene is poor, they usually have very bad health condition, because there are large number of anaerobic bacteria that lodge in the mouth, and with every time with the food they go inside the GIT, and then it gives us a problem. So again, the bottom line again that I have to say is that it is extremely important to take care of health. Eat lots of food in the breakfast, take food in moderation, do not take fat more than 5 to 10% in a day. Reduce the white things like salt, sugar, like the pastas, pizzas, and as well as do exercises every day. If we follow all these things, it is surely going to help us a lot. That's it for today. Thanks a lot.
Hello listeners, I hope all of you are really happy and satisfied with Dr. Vivek Sharma's guidelines. Follow this in your life and for sure you'll achieve your goal in your life.